Welcome to the Cross Counsel Podcast. We believe negative emotions shouldn't run your life. We invite you to take a deep dive into this challenging transformational journey that goes far beyond this podcast. Join Executive Director and expert facilitator Steve Freitag and me, John Crevillian, as we discuss how to deeply experience the love and truth of Jesus. Hey everybody, we're doing it live. I'm your host, John Crevillian. Welcome back to the show. I'm joined with my co-host, Steve Freitag. How's it going, buddy?
Wow, the stuff that will never make the podcast.
It's incredible.
Wow,
it's
yes.
Incredible.
We're here together.
Yeah.
And I can touch you, look.
Oh, good.
Yeah. You're excited about that?
We're also joined by someone who will probably appreciate it more than me, Jenni Freitag. How are you, miss?
I'm good. It's nice to be together. It's fun to do this together.
I love that we can do this live and that there's less internet to deal with, you know?
Sweet.
So, like we can just record it here and I can put it out there and not have to worry about the internet cutting out. So, love that.
Wow.
Love that.
Technology.
I know. I know.
We only have to worry about the lumberjacks and the motorcycle.
For those of you listening and think we're in the industrial park downtown, we're not. Our neighbors are a construction company, and today, I guess, is the day where they're getting everything ready to build an entirely wooden home. So if you hear a buzzsaw back there, it's just our friends making a log cabin or something. And then we have a lot of Harley guys out here because it's the La Crosse County. So if you hear them ripping past, on a Friday morning,
Because why not?
Why not? Pretty standard La Crosse. That's pretty mild.
Is it?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I saw someone the other day with a minivan with the Batman symbol on it and a spoiler,
on a
minivan, and he peeled out at a stoplight. And
because I think you have to at that point.
La Crosse is an open GTA server, but anyway.
Might as well own it.
Exactly. Lean into it.
That's right.
But yeah, we're really excited to have you guys here, in person today. Glad that you can join us. Also, for those of you watching, we hope you've enjoyed our trauma series. It's been a really long road. It's finished up. It's wrapped up. Even by the time we were done recording it, me and Steve looked at me and he's like, well, that's the beginning.
Right.
So, plenty more to look at. We hope you've enjoyed that series. But we're here today, and we're glad to have you guys. So what brings you by? What's up?
Well, we do ministry up here. I come up 3 times every 3 weeks or so. Of course, we've got an extra motivation to come up here.
Yes. Yeah. Eager to see Levi today.
Aww.
So that's so fun. Yes. He picked up clapping in the last week, so big
Excellent.
Stuff. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
It's win-win for sure.
Right.
Ministry, and honestly, how great to be able to connect in person.
Yeah.
And spend some time together. So
Absolutely.
Love that.
And we're going to be able to see Wes and Mary next week.
Yeah. We're going to see them. They're driving up to Illinois. We're going to meet them at a conference.
They're going to Illinois?
Illinois.
Yeah.
Wes with a full-on open carry revolver, howdy, y'all.
Well, that would surprise everyone. So.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, looking forward to seeing them next week. And again, the in-person is so great.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's always fun. It's always funny when they come up here too, because it'll be 60 degrees and they've got parkas on, and
sure.
we're all that's cute. They're precious.
Yes, I imagine if I lived down south, it would happen quickly.
Oh yeah, the moment we're down there when it's July, we vaporize. It's too warm.
Right.
But
very true.
Yeah. I don't know how we're gonna intro. I was just thinking about this, but you're going to see Jenni again with an ad at some point. A quick word from her, if you will. So, yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, but anyway.
Paul prays in Ephesians 3 that we would be rooted and established in love. Love that surpasses knowledge so that we may be filled to the measure of all the fullness of God. At Cross Counsel, it's miraculous to watch people transform by the love and truth of Jesus. But some people need a little extra help. We never turn anyone away because of their inability to cover their session fees. Would you be willing to cover that cost for somebody who is looking for freedom from something in their life? We are inviting you to be a part of what Cross Counsel is doing here. Would you be willing to donate to cover someone, bless them, though you've never met them. You can do that today at crosscouncil.com.
There it is.
There it is. We hope you
Nice
liked
job.
it. Boy, does that make me want to donate at crosscouncil.com/donate.
Where was that again, John?
That would be crosscouncil.com/donate. But anyways, so what's going on, guys? What do you want to talk about today?
So we got a group of people together. It was just a few people, mostly who were new to the ministry, but we had a special guest, Donna, come, who's been with us for over 20 years. And just, I wanted everyone who we invited to meet her. There was maybe a couple other people that have been involved in the ministry, but most people there were new to Cross Council within the last year. And as we went around the room, we talk about the trauma series, there's trauma all over the place. And we didn't even get into people's personal things, but it was just amazing to watch the room change as people went around and shared. I don't know what your reaction was overall, but we talked about it a little bit. I'm not totally clueless. I do talk to my wife, but.
Yeah, it was really a sweet night. We were starting with a small group because we didn't know, as we recreate community in Madison, what does that look like? What are people looking for? And so Steve and I were having some conversations around the idea of what is it to be walking out transformational living in a community, or what is, when you leave a session, what's helpful? And so rekindling a Madison community is kind of what last night was about, seeing if there's an interest. And there was, as people shared their stories around the room, you saw that common thread of look what Jesus does, right? As they talked about their stories.
And there's some fascinating stories coming from the Madison crew, honestly.
Yeah.
Like every time, the times that I've been at the golf event, it's mostly a Madison crew up there. Makes sense, it's in Madison. But the guys that share when it comes time for that have incredible stories, and they're not ashamed of it at all.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's what's continues to be so profound about the healing that people receive, is that freedom that's there, right? What would have been shame-ridden is now something you can openly share because it no longer stings. It doesn't have that pain point, right? Because you've received some healing, and as God transforms those memories, now it's just a memory, right? It doesn't have all the landmine attached to it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love the connection when you picked up Donna and brought her in, and I'm like, hey, Donna, it's great to see you. She's like, what you need to say is welcome home, because she hadn't been to the office in a while. I'm like, you're so right. Welcome home.
Yeah.
Because she did so much ministry with us for years, and now she's not able to. But it was just so great to see her. And that just really helped the conversation as well when I brought that up to the whole group. Just the idea of connection, and that's what we wanted to have happen, is this connection. And I've talked about it before, with any meeting, there's the pre-meeting, there's the meeting, there's the post-meeting. And I thought the meeting was great. But then after you said amen, nobody moved. They just turned to one another, wanting to get each other's contact information and just to connect more.
That's sweet.
And the connection is just so important, because that is one of the ways that I think I look at our ministry, is each one of us coming home. Not in the I die and go to heaven kind of thing, and there's a whole lot to be said about that.
Right.
But the idea that each one of us has been lost and are found. And Jesus rescues us from our sin, but I also get this image in my mind of Jesus rescuing us from this moment where we had a skewed perspective. Our interpretation of those things was messed up, and how could it not be in certain places? And so there's this separation. The enemy has all this room for deception, right? The Lord sets himself up as the underdog, because truth is very narrow. And so he gives the enemy all the other field of vision as we view things. It's so much easier to believe that I'm worthless, I'm no good, it's my fault kind of things, instead of the real perspective of what the Lord wants us to know. And I had never thought about it like this, but that whole idea of coming home and that the doors are open, I just thought about the veil.
Yeah.
that ripped when Jesus gave up his spirit, and what that signifies. And you're a pastor's kid. When you think about the veil tearing, what do you think about? What is the significance of that veil tearing?
Oh man, I don't know. Like, this is a can of worms in and of itself. But the thing that stands out to me is very much that, like, Scripture points out that it was torn from top to bottom. You know, it's very specifically that this was, in a sense, that this was God saying, "I have made a way to you." You know. Regardless of, and it's also a symbol of the old law being fulfilled and that no longer being necessary, and that there is righteousness through Christ. Therefore, the Holy of Holies is not closed off. It is open to those who would accept Christ. I'm going to nerd out if I keep going, but yeah.
Nerd away.
But yeah, you know, like, especially when you look at, like, how thick those curtains were.
Right.
Like, they were ridiculous. Like, for those of you who don't know, like, the curtain that separated, like, the Holy of Holies from the rest of, like, the synagogue and from, like, the sanctuary and all that was, like, something like, minimum, like, 6 inches thick. Probably, like, a full foot or something. But it was, like, this heavy, heavy curtain. And, you know, like, the significance of the Holy of Holies was that, like, if you went and you presented an offering or you worshiped God in that space, God dwelled there. His presence dwelled there. So if you came and you were unrighteous, you were unclean, you had not made a sacrifice before then, he would strike down whoever that was, whatever priest that was, to the point where they would tie a rope around the priest's leg. So if they hear him fall over and die, they can be like, all right, let's get him out of there. And so the significance of the curtain being ripped open and the Holy of Holies being a place that we can approach God himself through Christ's sacrifice is astronomically important.
Right. Yeah, I'm glad I asked you. Wow. Thanks for nerding out just off the top of your head.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, really.
So, I mean, that's so significant for, the bridge that he created, a new way. And Jesus is the one-time sacrifice for all. If you read Hebrews, that is the theme of Hebrews.
Yeah.
But from a microcosm standpoint, it's like when we have bought into this garbage, it blinds us to the truth. That's the lies. And so we always try to look for a solution to that pain. We try to remove the veil somehow. We try to deal with that separation that we feel, because we all crave balance. We all crave peace. We all crave harmony. And when we believe those things in those specific moments, it is like the veil is up. And as we walk people through those experiences, we can't change the memories. That's not what the Lord does. But I think as we're open to it, he starts to tear each veil in each memory connected to the beliefs, the lies that people have held on to. So that's just a picture that I get in my head when I think about how the veil connects with each memory that people deal with.
Right. And the access that then opens up. Excuse me, the reality of then the relationship that flows, right, as a result of that veil being gone, that lie being transformed with truth, right? It's amazing. And so the stories last night were really fun to hear, to share, for people to talk about their journey, just getting started, right? Most of them, a few sessions under their belt, some with more, and Donna with her, just years and beauty of ministry and ministering to others. It was a joy. Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, I can't say enough about it. And just even the questions that were asked and the discussions that float from that. People do want to be free. And part of the reason why we had it was a very small invite to people. If you didn't get invited, it wasn't like we don't like you. Well, I don't know. Maybe there's that one guy.
It isn't like we don't like you.
Wasn't there that one guy?
What one guy?
No,
I work for you, sir.
You're quick. You got it. It's too far of a drive.
Yeah, it's too far. My tire might blow up.
It's happened before.
It has.
But then one person would ask a question, and you could tell that everyone's like, "Oh, yeah, that's great. Well, I've been thinking that." So to have those kind of discussions, just honest and open, and to have people just feel like, hey, maybe I'm not strange. Maybe I'm not alone. Maybe I'm not the only one who has felt this way. And just to have that bond created instantly when people are on a journey like this, it really was so amazing. So it just motivates us to do more community.
Right. And I think that's something we've been talking about and trying to decide what to do or wonder and pray about. Like, how do you create that? And so it was a great start. It'll be fun to see where it goes and if it grows, too, depending on the interest from other people. So, yeah, the reality of living out a transformational mindset with others around you is important. Because I think as you walk through the melt process, it's deep and it's abiding and it's a beautiful thing, and it's great to be able to walk that out and talk that through with other people who've been through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of good reasons to be in that kind of community, because I think there is healing that happens in community. Just knowing that you aren't alone, that there are other people that understand. Because if you've stepped into this journey and you try to talk to somebody else who hasn't, quite often it's very difficult for them. They could be like, hey, that's really neat for you. And then one of the other things that came up was the people that have courageously stepped into some very heavy things in their life, and then they talk to other people about it, and these other people are like, well, yeah, I want that. But the steps that you have to take to get there isn't just, tell me your story and hopefully your transformation story transforms me. That really isn't the way that it works. It can encourage us, it can inspire us, but each one of us, I think, has to face whatever those things are.
Right, there's definitely a cost. We all know. I mean, the three of us go through it and do the ministry, right, and go through the process. And so I struggle with that as doing the intro calls, right? Trying to be that encouragement to people wanting to step into it, but recognize I want to communicate that it comes at a cost. You have to do the work, right, to get the healing, to get in the process. And so when you've done it, other people can relate. That's pretty amazing. So anyway, obviously it was a great time. We're looking forward to building off of that and seeing what that does for the next level, people wanting to be facilitators, any of the next things in the classes as well.
Right. And I think another thing that came up, and it really is difficult for me at times to try to communicate to people that it's not just lip service when we say Jesus is at the center of everything that we do, and that it's Holy Spirit driven, because there are people who have had other experiences at other places, and it's like, okay, well, we prayed at the beginning, maybe we prayed at the end, but other than that, I don't know if I really felt like God moved in my life. And there's probably many different factors to that, but it's really no joke when we say that nothing of any eternal value happens at Cross Council unless the Lord is doing the work.
Yeah.
As we cooperate with Him, as we participate in this. We just can't emphasize that enough. And one of the other things that I think is the fruit that happens in people's lives is amazing, and the things that people realize, oh, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not reacting that way anymore.
Right.
And one of the things that was shared by a spouse who said, yeah, he still has those moments, but instead of lasting a week or a month in some kind of funk, it's a day or 2 days, and then he's recovered. And so we talked about that idea of returning to joy, returning to that place, that there's not so many things. It's like, of course, yeah, we still have lies that we believe. There's still things going on in each of us. But the amount of those lies is greatly reduced, and it doesn't take nearly as long to get to the other side of the veil, to get back to a place of balance and peace and harmony and connection, especially with a spouse or family or those close. So, and it's amazing to me because I've heard that from other people, and then somebody shares that like, huh, that's what's happening. I wonder if that's, they weren't saying this, but it's, wow, I've just noticed that. Isn't that kind of weird? And for me, it's like, no, that's Jesus. That's what happens. I've heard that over and over again. where people so much more quickly recover from the triggers that they've had. Not all the triggers disappear, but that's part of the process.
And being okay with the process
Yeah.
too. I think obviously we all want the easy button, and somebody joked as well last night about, oh, I thought we would do this. I thought I would do it maybe 2-3 times and I'd be good.
Right.
Which, who doesn't want that, right? And Jesus does amazing things in 2 and 3 sessions. Yeah. But for us to be content with progress as well, you know, and continual progress in the journey of freedom. That was a fun conversation as well.
Absolutely. It sounds like you guys had a great time in Madison. I love how quickly that community seems to be like kind of finding each other, you know? So, and I hope to see a lot of you Madison folks over at Kestrel Ridge this summer, June 28th. Mark it on your calendars. It should be a fun time.
It is so fun.
I'll be there. My lady's going to be driving the golf cart, so I might die, but
Really? Oh, that's fun.
yeah, she's gonna be helping me out. So I'll be around. Steve and Jenny, you guys will be around. Are we getting Wes and Mary out there, or not so much? Not this time.
Sounds like they're prioritizing their anniversary.
Get your priorities right, guys. Come on, Carltons.
They said, we'll be in Oregon. I'm like, Wisconsin?
Perfect.
Oregon,
Right
Wisconsin?
next door.
Right.
Yeah. No, I don't think that's what they were telling us.
We couldn't sell them on that.
Yeah, I was like, what's there? And Wes is like, exactly. So.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you guys next week. We've got a few awesome interviews planned with some more folks from around La Crosse area, maybe a few more in Madison as well. We'll keep you posted. We'll see you next week.
This has been the Cross Council Podcast. Please remember to subscribe, rate, share with your friends, and look for us on social media. The world will become a much better place, and Jesus will be seen in a much better light the more we are transformed by His truth and love. We'll see you next time, everybody.